So you have to have a system to train your people. You have to train your people to the system, and then you have to train your clients. So here's how I train my clients. All right? What happens? I get a seller client over here, goes to the listing assistant. Every question that happens inside here, I do a 3-way telephone call with the listing assistant. Wait a minute. Let me get Jan on the phone. So my client's on the phone with Jan, and I'm saying, Jan, I got Mr. and Mrs. Smith on the phone here, and so here's the question that we have. And they say, well, so-and-so, they left the door open, let the cat out, left the lights on, all of that kind of stuff. So then Jan says, okay, I will call that other agent. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith is, okay, we'll call the other agent and let them know, do you want us to call you back? Jan says, I'll call you back. Next time they call me up and they go, Steve, I got a question for you. What did Pam Jones showed my house last week, but I haven't heard what her client thought about it. I said, wait a minute, let's get Jan on the phone. Jan gets on the phone, she goes, you know what? Pam Jones wouldn't respond back to me. Let me call again. Guess what starts happening when you do that? Your clients start to call Jan. Now, here's the system. Jan says, is there anything you need to speak to Steve about? It does not matter what the conversation was, what the phone call was. There is a script that happens every time because it's your system. Open the freezer door, take out the bag, rip the top off, push. Every single time in the script is there anything you need to speak to Steve about? My clients always knew that they had access to me, but they knew that the answers to their questions were right here, so they stopped calling me.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
If you don't have an assistant that you can do 3-way telephone calls with, you get to talk to all of those clients. You get to make the telephone calls to find out how that unprofessional real estate agent who did not call you back after the showing, even after repeated things, you get the job. And then what happens is you go to a party and your client says, Steve, Jan is wonderful. I just want to tell you how awesome she is. And I go, yeah, I know. That's awesome. You know what you ought to do is call her and say thank you or write her a note. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And they're excited to tell her how good she is. Now my clients are supporting the morale of my team. And now they call me up and they say, Steve, who on my team should I work with? I want to sell a house. Okay, that was the first question. Second question?
Brilliant. Yeah, second question. Branding.
Oh,
your
branding.
name
Yeah,
or not
so
your name?
mine was Chater Team. Is Chater Team today. And because my name is Steve Chater, and I didn't even know about branding when I got started in the business, so it was Steve Chater and I was doing real estate. And one of the things that, whether at RE/MAX or Realty Execs or Keller Williams or any agent-focused company, they put the agent name in there. You know, they want you to brand yourself. At least that was initially the idea. That's where Realty Executives started, and he said, I want you to brand yourself. Now, I find it interesting, and I don't know if anybody's here from RE/MAX, I'm not being politically incorrect, but I find it interesting that they're branding a balloon instead of the agents. Just my observation. So, if you're the brand, I put this thing together, and what happened was, I'm trying to find the best quality over here that I could possibly find. I'm trying to find the best quality over here and here that I could possibly find. And I had this idea. What do lawyers do? What other professionals do? What other doctors do? Because see, we want to say we're professional, but we work like the family doctor, not the professionals. Nothing wrong with family doctors. Don't get me wrong. But we work like we're the only ones that do service. So I said, you know what? Let's make it like a law firm. Let's create this whole support system for top producing real estate agents so they can now go out and do what they're doing, because they're either afraid to do a team or they don't want to take the time to do a team or whatever it is. And so let's get the best agents together and let's team up with the best of the best. And I called it the Giants in Real Estate. And the real estate industry thought, what a brilliant idea, that's awesome. Being able to work with great people. I was coaching basketball for my kids. And I saw them one day, these are 8, 9-year-old kids. And, you know, they all think they're Kobe Bryant today, or, you know, at that time it was Michael Jordan. And I watched this one kid come dribbling up the court like this. And he stopped and he picked up the ball and he went like this. And then went like that. And I said, I don't want anybody on my team that I would have to pick up the ball and go, should I pass it to this person? No, I'm going to give it to this person on my team. And that's what typical real estate agents do. They go, this is a $500,000 buyer. And so they tell their buyer's agents they're no good. I won't trust you with the big dollar one. So it's like, no, I want the best ones that I can get up there. I wanted somebody that said, if I was buying a house, and her name is Christine, and I said, if I was buying a house, I would buy it from Christine. She's the best in the business. I haven't seen anybody better. Let me give you to Christine. And they go, wow, Christine is wonderful. Thank you, Steve.
Fantastic.
I don't know if I answered the question.
You did.
I got on the game.
No, that's wonderful. Quick show of
And
hands.
you know what? Tom, tell our story.
Well, I'm Tom Barnwell, I'm Fuller Sotheby's. I was at Keller Williams, it's probably about 16 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
And,
14. Because they told me to yesterday.
It was forever ago, and we did a lot of events in Arizona and Texas, and met up with Steve and the Mendozas, and Mary Harkin was great to listen to, a good role model for referrals. And so
She's one of the people in the back of the book, by the way.
what I learned to do is engage with successful agents and how can I help them and refer them business, and never got a hold of Steve but his people, but anyway, through that process Steve referred me his brother and his wife, and it was just
They bought their house in Golden Front, right? I slept there last night. Okay,
Nice.
so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
So-
Quick show of hands. Who here has a team? That can even be your first assistant or whoever. Okay. Who doesn't have anybody yet? Okay. So let's talk about that, because this is a key question. Some of us may be a little control freakish in the real estate business. Tell me if you've heard this before. Yeah, maybe, just a little bit. And so how did you get past the anxiety of that first hire and actually making the decision to actually give them things and let them take the ball and run with it?
How did I first do it and how would I do it today are two different things.
Let's go with the second one then.
Yeah, the second one.
Okay.
Save us some time.
Keller Williams has evolved over the last 15 years to be the #1 business training school and business training. You know, I don't know if you guys know that there is such a thing as Training Magazine, and of all the corporations in the United States, we're in the top 100 for training. And so the system is here. How would I do it today? I'd follow the model. I'd follow that model. I would create this inside of the model, because this is the model. This is what I shared with Gary Keller, and all they did was open it up. Now they're closing it back up again. So that's what I do. I follow that model, #1. #2, for what does your real estate business look like? There's a mental model in there that says I'm either going to prospect or I'm going to market. I'm going to passively create leads or I'm going to actively create leads. And then here's what happens all the way down through. And now my only role is, if this is what's going to happen all the way down through, then the question is, who's going to do this, who's going to do this, who's going to do this? And it starts out with just me and somebody else. So I told you about, her name is Taffy, and Taffy went to be, I hired her and I thought $25,000 a year. Oh my gosh, how can I do this? I netted $75,000 more that year. The light bulb went on. How many of you know what the acronym for FEAR is?
False evidence appearing real.
Yes. False evidence appearing real. Anybody who thinks I can't afford an assistant is sitting there with some false evidence that appears real to them. And so that false evidence might be, I don't know who to hire or how to do it. No, we got it in the system. It might be, I don't know what I would have them do. No, we have it in the system. I don't know what, I don't want to train somebody and think, no, we have it in the system. We've got the system to make that happen. And we mastermind around these issues 3 to 4 times a year at Keller Williams. This is not rocket science. We've been doing it for 20 years. We have agents who believe that it's a problem in order to make that happen. And for those of you that don't have one yet, you're normal. Then you're absolutely normal. Because we teach, one of the mental models in there is we teach grow to the 7th level. The most difficult growth path is to go from level 1 to level 2. Level 1 says, here I am, I'm in real estate, I'll do it all for you. Level 2 is, I've hired my first assistant. And that is the number one of what we see across the country, because you have to change your mindset. You have to change what's going on up here. And what you have to change is, I don't have a job in sales, and I happen to have a product called real estate. I am now growing and building a business that helps my clients reach their needs through my business with a higher level of customer service than a real estate salesperson. Do you know there's a difference between a licensee and a professional? You guys are already at top producer level. That's what I'm understanding. You have created professionalism inside of your real estate practice. Your issue is, how do I take it to the next level? And if the question is not what do I do, the question is who do I have do it? Because we've already answered what do I do. Your issue is who do I have do this? So who do I find is, first thing you need is you need a personal assistant that does the transaction coordination and helps you with all the paperwork and all the stuff. That's the first hire right here. Don't violate it. Don't go here. Don't look at the commissions you might be able to make here. Every agent that I see that hires a buyer's agent first because they got too many leads has no support system for the buyer's agent, so they leave. And they start getting frustrated with leverage because they've skipped the model. Go right here. First hire is your transaction coordinator / personal assistant. And then your next hire is a showing assistant. Don't even bother with the buyer's agent yet. Uh-oh, this is a Sharpie.
Oh,
It's all right, alcohol will take care of it.
yeah.
It should be
That's right
up here. Okay, is that, so,
Right.
if you're afraid to do it, get over it. Look at that false evidence appearing real and ask yourself the question, what is the evidence that's appearing real to me that's stopping me from doing the move that everybody who knows what they're talking about tells me this is the move I should make? It might be, I don't want to. Okay, you want to limit yourself. I get that. It might be, I don't have anybody to hire. Okay, that's because you're not talking to Karen saying, I need an assistant, can you help me find one? Whatever the excuse is that you're using to say, I don't want to take my business and my customer service level up a notch, is the excuse that you're using, and there's some false evidence that's appearing real. Just ask yourself the question. Talk to somebody else who's already done it. And then make the commitment on your GPS to say, I don't care, this doesn't have to be $1 million, it could be $100,000. Not for you guys, but it could be $100,000. Make the commitment to say, this year on the leverage thing, I'm going to have my first personal assistant. So if you need to make one more sale before that happens and you take the money and put it away, well then go to work and make the sale, but then do this. Don't let stinking thinking hold you back from being what you were created to be.
Nice. And based on that, page 273 in your MREA book.
I'm not getting any questions from, except for Tom, I preempted his question.
Yeah. We'll go there in a second.
Okay.
This is the 7 levels that Steve was just talking about.
Yep.
So it's a blueprint, it's a chart, it's right here for you, in case you're wondering how that